I'm going to show everybody here what are the pros and cons to each fighting style, and what fighting style you should use for grinding and PvP in each sea. So let's do this. Alright, so the first fighting style you can actually obtain is Dark Step. So if you go to Pirate Village, and you go right here, you go, actually figure out where you're supposed to get it. So if you go in this door right here, there's someone called a Dark Step teacher. You talk to him, and you have to purchase Dark Step for 150,000 money, and you get it. I already have it, so let's get into the moves. First, you have the M1s. These are the M1s. And a very cool thing is with each move and with Dark Step fighting style, aura goes on your boots now. Go like boots. So instead of on your hands, it's on your feet now. So the first move is flying kick. You can aim where you want to go, and you fly up into a kick. Breakdance is the next one. You basically do a breakdance. Barrage is actually a hard one. Boom. It's a kick barrage. And I'm gonna equip the chopper hat so that way I can show without the long cooldowns of this fighting style, which actually make no sense why it's even that. I don't even know why the cooldowns are like this. Honestly, this is one of the bad things about this fighting style, is that the cooldowns are insanely long for a practically mid-fighting style. Alright, so now we have the V move, which is called Overheat. You press V, and now your feet are on fire. These are the M1s. They're basically flames now. Flying Kick now has flames. Breakdance, which actually looks really cool, is flames, and it looks like 10 times better than it did before. You have Barrage, which actually looks really cool too. Fiery Kicks. So, honestly, I would not recommend this fighting style at all, unless you are looking for grinding with like Buddha, and I think that's the only reason why you get this fighting style, or maybe to unlock Death Step later. But honestly, I would not recommend this fighting style. I have to give this fighting style a 2 out of 10. Alright, next, if you go to Skylands, and not in the island itself, you have to go all the way down. Go all the way down. If you go on... If you go on this right here, you have to talk to the mad scientist. You talk to him, you unlock the electric fighting style. You unlock the electric fighting style, and let's see the moves. Alright, so these moves are actually better than Dark Step in like almost every single way, even though there's only 3 moves for this one. Most fighting styles actually do have 3 moves. So first is the M1s. It's basically just an electric, basically electric punch. First is Stomp, but I need to be directly on the enemy to do this. It's basically a Stomp. Does terrible damage, too. So basically a Stomp in the air, and a Stomp down. Electric Tackle. I need to show that in better POV. You basically lunge towards your opponent, and that's basically all it does. So, let me show you guys again. So, if I'm over here, I just lunge towards the opponent. It still does good damage, though. But Electric Floor, I'm going to show you. You can't even hold down C. You hold down C, you get this. But if you let go, for like 5 seconds, you get an Electric Stun. Which, honestly, is a good move if you can hold it down But this move, honestly, is terrible because if you miss this, you're punished. You can't do anything. So let's say you're in PvP, right? And let's say I miss. And then they hit me. It's going to be kind of hard for me to come back from that. So that's what I'm going to rate this fighting style a 4 out of 10. Actually, no, a 3.5 out of 10. But next, it's time to go under the sea, because we're about to go to Underwater City. Because if you come over here to the back of Underwater City, but if you come over here, and you see it, not in this wall, not the one that looks oddly shaped, right next to it, there's a wall right here you can go through. Talk to the Water Kung Fu teacher, and you can get Water Kung Fu for 750,000 money. Which is actually pretty expensive. But, honestly, it's worth it. Because it's very good for PvP. Yeah, actually, it's very good for grinding. Because look at these M1s. You don't stop. Right? But now, here are the moves. Not as good for grinding, honestly, but Steam Charge Fist. And now, the next move has some pretty good range. If I'm right here, it hits. Pretty good move for range. And this is for C. Kind of bad moves in my opinion. I honestly think it needs a rework a bit. But Water Kung Fu for its grinding potential is a 5 out of 10. For PvP, like a 2 out of 10. But altogether, that'd be a 3 out of 10. Alright, so it's time to go to Middletown, because those are all the first C fighting styles. Now we have to go to second C. Alright, so now, since you're in second C, you have to go to Cafe, the first fighting style. Alright, so this NPC right here is called Sabi. Will show you the Dragon Breath fighting style. So, if you go over here to the NPC right here, you need 1,500 fragments to even talk to this NPC. And to learn, you need 1,500 fragments to learn Dragon Breath. I do not have enough 200 master on this fighting style, which you can now tell, which is a pretty bad fighting style in my opinion. Worst second C fighting style, but it's still really good for like second C and farming. So honestly, these are the M1s, pretty slow. About the same as Dragon Talon later, but now the Z move, you have Dragon Rush. Not the worst move, but not the best. Dragon Flames, which is the X. Not really the best move, but it's still good though. And then Dragon Explosion, if you do not even use this for PvP. So if you do this, the charge up of that attack is actually crazy. So do not even use that for PvP. Unless you have like a plan, like you can do something. For PvP, you can do something like this maybe. But even that's a bit slow if you can just Kentrick out of that. So honestly, this fighting style is a 4 out of 10. At least in my opinion. Alright, so next we have to go to Snow Island. Because the next fighting style, you need Water Kung Fu, Dragon Breath, Electric Fighting Style, and Dark Step. All to 300 mastery. Okay, so if you come to this NPC here, the Martial Arts Master, you need 3 million money for this, but you'll unlock Superhuman. Honestly, the first basic PvP fighting style in the entire game that you can actually get. So, this is basically the move. It's like a copy-paste version of Godhuman, but just like 10 times worse. So, this is mainly used in skilled builds, but let's see the moves. So, the first one is the M1s. Pretty basic. First move, we have B-Style Pounce. Basically a barrage of punches. Thunderclap. It works either way if you hold it down or not. It's the exact same move. And Conqueror Gun. It's basically that. It's basically a mini version of a fighting style we're going to see later. So for PvP potential, maybe 6 out of 10, 8, 7 out, no, 7.5 out of 10. But when it comes to grinding, 3 out of 10, because the only move that actually hits one enemy and multiple enemies is the X. So, alright, so for the next fighting style, you have to go to Skull Island. You have to talk to Dagrock the Sharkman right here. You gotta talk to him. And you get the Sharkman Karate fighting style. Alright, so you need, if I'm not mistaken, you need 2.5, no. Yeah, you need 2.5k money and you need 5,000 fragments. So, and they also need to get a water key, which drops from the Tidekeeper located on the back of this island. So let's get into the moves. Let me just find an enemy to do this on. First, you have 12 water palms, which is basically a lunge forward attack like this. Pressure vortex is basically just a shoot of water that comes out and hits the opponent. And Gracie Spear, let me go all the way back for this. It brings the enemy in and it shoots them out like that. And I also got Mr. Droplet. Okay, I have to go to Winter Castle. But the next fighting style is Death Step. You need to get Dark Blade to 400 Mastery. You need to get Dark Step to 400 Mastery. So an Ice Castle, all in the top where the Awakened Ice Admiral spawns. So you're going to go in this library. But you need to get the library key from the Awakened Ice Admiral, which will spawn right here, is a 15% drop. You are going to come in here. You are going to talk to the, you're going to talk to Fully the Reformed, and you're going to learn Death Step for 2.5k fragment, no, 5k fragments, and 2.5 million money. Okay, so now for the moves. This is actually a better version of Dark Step, which makes sense. You need to bring it to 400 mastery in order to get this. Alright, so you have Z move, which is Rocket Kick. It's a lunge forward like that, and it also kicks your opponent. X move, why is it lagged out like that? The X move, which is Wind Bullet. It's a projectile from your foot, basically. Vermilion Drill. And then the V move, which is Maximum Overheat, actually does the exact same thing as Dark Step. It actually makes your feet go on fire and the moves actually change. So for example, Rocket Kick turns into a Flaming Kick. Alright? Wind Bullet turns into a Fiery projectile. Vermilion Drill, it's the coolest of them all. Like that. So Death Step is a pretty good fighting style. For grinding, I'd have to give it maybe a 5 out of 10 just because the M1's alone. And also the moves, the X and the C hit, and then the V move, you do extra damage. So that's at least what I think. Alright, so now that we're in third seed, we have the better fighting styles over here. So first, you go to first. If you go to Turtle Entrance, and you go over here to where the Longma boss is, you're going to see the first fighting style. So if you go all the way here, the Longma boss is right here. And you come all the way back here. You can talk to previous hero. You need to do a quest line. So you need to go to Mansion within 30 seconds of talking to him. And then you have to come back here. You have to pay 3 million money and 5,000 fragments for this fighting style. So Electric Claw is actually one of the best PvP fighting styles in the game. Unless Uzoth is watching, Dragon Talon's best and always will be the best. But Electric Claw is a pretty good fighting style for PvP. So this is why I seriously think that Electric Claw is the basic founding of 3rd C PvP. Because the Z move, which is Electric Rampage, they need Electric 400 Mastery for this. So, Z move, which is Electric Rampage. A lunge attack, basically that simple. Lightning Thrust. It's just a better version of all the other of the electric fighting style. And then Thunderclap and Flash. It's literally a Flash ability to move. And the M1s are kind of bad for AFK grinding or auto clicking because they keep moving forward every single M1. Even the first one moves forward, moves forward, moves forward, moves forward. So when it comes to grinding, it's still pretty good though. All the moves, I think both of the Z and the C do hit multiple enemies. The X doesn't, but that's okay because the damage does not even make up for it. I did a video where it tested all the damage. Electric Claw came in last. But honestly, for grinding, it is a 6 out of 10. For PvP, it's an 8 out of 10. So if you go to Hydra Town, you need Dragon Breath 400 Mastery for this. 400 Mastery on Dragon Breath. You can come here, and you can unlock Dragon Talon. Okay, this fighting style recently got a rework in December, so the moves changed a bit since update 23, but it looks like 10 times better than it used to. Because the Z move, which is Talon Lighter, this is the V1, I'm going to show you guys the V1 abilities, and then the V2. So, the Z, which is Talon Lighter, looks pretty straightforward. It's basically a lunge attack, where it also turns into blue flames in the middle of the move. Pretty nice. The X, which is Ember Annihilation, basically shoots a big dragon out, and it attacks. So, if you are from here, let's say, X, and then it hit the enemy. But if I really wanted to, it can curve the dragon around if I really wanted to. These are the M1s, by the way. Oh, let me show you guys what I'll tell you about controlling the dragon. So if I do this, I can control it, bring it back here. So now we have the C move, which is Infernal Vortex. That was actually the V2 of the C move. I really can't change it, so I'm just trying to show you guys without the V2 upgrade. So the difference between the Z move with the V1 and the V2 is that now if you get the enemy low enough, get him one tap. Now, if I do the Z move again and they're low health like this, look what happens. An execution happens and they die. So that's the big difference. The X move's difference is that now you can basically ride the dragon. Pause. But you can actually hold it down. Now you're on the dragon. So watch this. Like that. And now the C move before, if you went up in the air, the enemy would not follow you. But now, I actually showed this before, but now the enemy travels up with me and down that way. So that is the difference between the V1 and V2 of Dragon Talon. Alright, so the next fighting style is actually one of the best fighting styles in the entire game. Right? Best in the entire game. So if you go to Turtle Center, come over here. You come to this tree over here. Come over here, come down this way to this tree, there's a big hole there, go down this way. Where am I? Okay, so you need to get every single fighting style that we talked about so far, 400 mastery for this. You need a couple of materials, and this also costs 5,000 money, 5 million money and 5,000 fragments. So you get this. And now, let's show the moves. Alright, so you have the Z move, which is... Alright, first let's do the M1s. They're the same as Superhumans, basically. Alright, now the Z, which is Soaring Beast. Alright, Soaring Beast, pretty interesting. Now there's two variants to this move. First one is just a tap. Like that. But there's another variant. This variant is about the same as the Superhuman's X. Like this. And then now, the C move, there are two versions for this one too. There is the least common one that you see people using in PvP, is this one, the tap. But the hold one is basically a combo starter. This fighting style is not all that good for PvP. I mean, not good for PvEs. That's in my opinion. So, C move, which is 6th round gun, holding it like that. So this fighting style is very good for PvP. For grinding, not so much. For grinding, I'm giving this a 2 out of 10 just because none of the moves hit. And the M1's pretty weak. When it comes to PvP, 10 out of 10 easily. Now for the best fighting style in the entire game, we have Sanguine art. You come over here to the island where the island boys are and the island champions are, right? And the island outlaws are. You come over here to this basement. You talk to Shafi Dev. And you get this fighting style. Now, this fighting style is really unique. Just because of the range of the M1s, like this. Right? The M1s have range. But now the Z move just Bloodbane Drain. I'm gonna get low. Oh no, I'm low, I'm low, I'm low, I'm low, right? I'm low. Now if I hit this, it gives me a life leech. Scarlet Tear does not give you a life leech at all. But it does do very good damage. But now the C move, if let's say I hit all the way up here. I think it auto tracks, right? It auto tracks to the nearest enemies. So it's good for both PvP and grinding. So I seriously think that it is an 8 out of 10 for grinding just because of the range of the M1s alone. And it is a 7.5 out of 10 for PvP because of the life leech ability with this Z. So those are the fighting styles. I hope everyone enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 75 subscribers by the end of June. And 100 by the end of the year, and that will not be possible unless you guys subscribe. So thank you for watching today's video, and see you in the next video.